Without a mother, a home loses most, if not all, of its meaning. Without a home, life loses most, if not all, of its meaning. As soon as vacations begin, we see scores of children with their parents, returning to their hometowns. No matter how long we have been away or how far we have been away, we are able to connect with our homes almost instantly. There is something nostalgic about returning home. It is as if some part of the land flows in our blood. We feel the place, we feel for the people, we feel for our home. We all look forward to going home. Children particularly experience a tremendous amount of joy and thrill and excitement when it is time to travel homewards. Home is the place where we experience acceptance and belongingness. Home is where we are free to be ourselves. Home is where we experience healing and peace. To be homeless means to be unaccepted. To be homeless means to be unwanted. To be homeless means to be unloved. Unfortunately, the world today has thousands of refugees, homeless and displaced people. There are people living in exile, unable to go back to their homes, to their home countries. It is a terrible feeling to be displaced and homeless, and to know that we would never be able to return to our homes. Pope Francis reflects on the Gospel of John chapter 14 verse 1 to 12, where Jesus tells us that He has gone ahead of us to prepare a place for us in our eternal home. This Gospel is the beginning of Jesus' farewell discourse. These are the words with which Jesus addresses His disciples at the end of the Last Supper, just before facing His passion. In this painful and dramatic moment, Jesus begins by saying to His confused and shaken disciples, "Do not let your hearts be troubled." He says the same to us too in life's troubles. The Jesus way in response to life troubles is the way of humble love, of prayer, of meekness, of trust, of service, of putting others before self. We have heard the very familiar story of Martin, who spent 5 long painful years in jail for a series of crimes he has committed as a young man. In these 5 years, he had lost all contact with his home, with his family, with his friends, and with his people. 5 long years had gone by. Martin was a changed man. The day for his release was approaching. He was tense with excitement. He was excited and looking forward to a free life out of jail. He was tense because he was not sure if his family would want him back or not after all the shame and pain he had brought them. Martin's family lived in a house by the railway tracks, almost 300 miles away from the jail where he was imprisoned. There was a huge mango tree between his house and the railway tracks. Unsure of their feelings for him, Martin wrote to his family to hang a white ribbon on the mango tree if they wanted him back. If he saw the white ribbon on the mango tree, he would get off at the station. If he didn't see the white ribbon, he would presume that his family did not want him back and would continue to the journey and go wherever the train took him. The day for his release from jail finally arrived. Martin boarded the train. He remembered his past life. The villagers had labeled him a criminal. He was prepared for the worst. The 300-mile journey from the jail was a long and painful journey. Martin was restless. He was unable to eat or drink anything. It was 5 long years since he had last been home. As the train approached his village, his heart started pumping faster. He was so scared that at one point he felt his heart had almost stopped beating. 1 kilometer away from home, then a half kilometer, 300 meters, 200 meters. Martin recognized the familiar fields and surroundings, but could not dare to look out of the window. He didn't have the courage he was sure that he would not find the white ribbon on the mango tree outside his home. Trembling and praying, and hoping against hope, he mustered the strength and quickly looked out of the train window. What did he see? White ribbons on each and every branch of the mango tree. Martin was wanted. He was loved. He was accepted. Martin was back home. Words could not contain his joy. He and his family wept as they hugged each other. Our life stories may not be as dramatic as the life story of Martin, but many of us must have experienced being loved and accepted in spite of our weaknesses and failures. To have faith is to be at home. To be without faith is to be homeless. We love to be with our dear ones. We love to be home. In the Gospel, John 14:1-12, Jesus invites us to his Father's home. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except by me. For us Christians, life is a journey to the Father's home. From the time we are born and from the day of our baptism, God our Father has welcomed us into his home and into his family. Even though Jesus was rejected when he walked on earth, he has become the cornerstone of our homes. Jesus is the keystone of our families and the foundation stone of the church. God the Father's home is a model for our own human homes. God the Father's family is a model for our human families. Creating better homes on earth is a task that Jesus has entrusted to each one of us. We need the Holy Family of Joseph, Mary, and Jesus to help us respond. Let us work harder to create a climate of our homes in which each person knows and feels that he or she belongs. Each person feels loved and wanted. We are invited to be a little more caring, a little more sensitive, a little more understanding, and most importantly, a little more forgiving towards the members of our families. A wise man was participating in a conversation. He contributed by telling the group a joke. All those present were highly amused and appreciated the humor. After a while, the wise man narrated the same joke again. This time, the response was more tempered. After some time, he said it the third time, and it evoked barely any response. When the wise man tried repeating the same joke for the fourth time, a member of the group burst out. Why are you repeating the joke so many times? It's no longer amusing. It's actually irritating. The wise man responded, if repeating a joke ceases to amuse after a few times, then how do we carry on with resentments and repeated remembrances of painful stories? Are there any painful stories and resentments that we are carrying along in life? Is there someone we are unable to love and accept? Is there some person we are unable to forgive? May Our Lady, Queen of Heaven, help us to follow Jesus, who opened heaven for us, and may His words deepen our faith. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Amen.